Hi, my name is Yemisi Opagade. I'll be giving my informative speech on practice and rituals of Yoruba religion, the birth, the death, and the reincarnation. The term Yoruba refers to ethnic group that lived in the Yoruba land. It is a cultural area that is included in the West African nation of Nigeria. It is also referred to a language that is spoken by a large portion of the population in Nigeria. I'm here to let you know about the various rituals practices that make up Yoruba religion and its tradition. The first is the Ifa divination. It is most known in the Yoruba practice religion. It is a ritual that appears to have answers to every query one might have, from concern about one's health and to how to make a crucial choices, whether to oneself or for a group of people. The Ifa priests, known as Babalawo or Iyalawo, which in Yoruba means that this is their father or the mother that keeps secrets. They are the ones who are used to carry these ceremonies. Then I'll talk of the Odu. The Odu is the process that is repeated like 8 times. The scared literature of the Yoruba people call it Odu Ifa, and it has like 256 Odu. Odu, which means verses. It has like 256 verses, and they are divided into 16 verses. For each of these 16 verses is called Odu Ifa. The verses that one receives from divination figures called the Odu Ifa, and this is repeated or interpreted by the Ifa priest, whether it is the Babalawo or the Iyalawo, who would explain what kind of sacrifice one must be done, the person must do. And there are also 16 more tied to these 256 verses. So there are at least 496 verses in total. And each of these verses has like 1,680 attached to it. The Yoruba people came to believe that there was no circumstances that Ifa divination could not resolve. So that means that there is no problem you come to and meet these people which they won't find an answer to it because of the verses which they had been brought down to them. So these people go into it and check the one that really relates to what is happening to the person. And Ifa priest at that time would determine the birth of a person and the destiny when they are born into the Yoruba faith. Just as it's possible to have a wonderful destiny and still lead a nasty life, it is also possible to have a poor destiny and still be a good person. The Yoruba life is lived with the intention to reincarnate. If they lead moral life and carry good deeds and passed away naturally, they will be reborn as grandchildren who frequently resemble the elder which has passed away in their family, if not in the physical world. One will go, and the other ones who are bad or did a bad thing when they were alive, they will go to the bad heaven. This is a place that is called the broken pot and cannot be fixed, and they will not be able to reincarnate them back to the world. And so this is one of the beliefs of the Yorubas. And by the time these new children are born and they look like their grandfather, they give them a name to show that oh, this person was reborn or reincarnated. Another thing in Yoruba land is the Ebo, which is called a ritual that is practiced. This is a ritual that's a sacrifice that is made by the gods for atonement of destiny. The sacrifice must be made in order to implement the treatment that is decided by the priest. Some items are used for this sacrifice, like rats, fish, roaches, male goat, pigs, and the likes. Sometimes use pigeon, male pigeon, white bean, and the likes to appease the spiritual forces. If the spirituals of the Ifa divination indicate the outcome of the spiritual creature, may occasionally reject some sacrifices made. So when sacrifices are rejected, the Oshun, there's a small god called the Oshun that performs the Easter ceremony and receive the result to tell you that okay, this sacrifice has been accepted or not. Another thing to talk about is the Odufa. This is a secret book for the Yoruba that tells tale of how various tribes were able to distinguish one another, and this comes into existence of how tribal mark came into existence. A monarch sent 2 slaves on a mission to complete a task some years ago, and one of the slaves returns to his master, achieving the success, while the other came empty-handed. So the other, which came empty-handed, had a 22 razor blade all over his bodies and face. After the face was healed, the king ladies took a fancy of the face because it makes him look different, and they decided to cut their future children with the same razor blade to show another look. And they says that this is no more a punishment, but is a sign of royalty. From the point on, two cuts will be made to each children faces as a sign of royalty to that tribes. And also some people use either more or two cuts to determine the tribes at which they come from. So sometimes when you see people with tribal marks, you would be able to identify that these people actually came from this part of place in the Yoruba land. Then I'll also talk about the masquerade. This is a costume that is worn during the holiday or for spiritual needs. These costumes are worn by an impersonator who pretends to be like an ancestor who are coming back to address the people's complaint and to bless them with human and crop fertility and also with general prosperity. The masquerade are no longer human by the time they put on the clothes, because by this time they tell you the solutions to problems we have, and these clothes are made of different costumes like leathers, monkey skulls, cowries, necklace, and various medicines are attached to this cloth. I will conclude by saying that the Yoruba religion is abundant in spiritual rituals and practice, including divination, reincarnation, burial ceremonies, masquerade, clothes, songs, and dance, in order for the gods to accept them into the afterlife and permit them to be reincarnated again. Thank you.